Hi guys, I'd like to welcome you guys all back to Read with Melanin, and today we are talking about the books that I read in February and March. I didn't really read a lot. I've kind of been spending time on other hobbies, which I will say that if you guys did not know, I have a gaming channel here on YouTube called Game with Melanin. We will be changing that to Hobbies with Melanin, more so because I want to share with you guys some of the other hobbies that I do that's outside of reading, and also kind of just little insights to like my home decor and stuff. And I feel like that's like the better place to put it. So if you're interested in other things that Melanin Eclectic does, personally, check out my Gaming with Melanin channel. If you want to check out my business side of my life with my actual business, Melanin Eclectic LLC, check out Plan with Melanin, because I think that I should state that in like every video now. So in no particular order, I finished The Memory Thieves by Danielle Clayton. This is the second book in the Marvelers middle grade series. And I think I said this in the last recap that I did for that book. It just didn't hit for me. I'm not even gonna say that it fell into like the second book syndrome. I felt like I might have just been too old to enjoy it. I think that's like, I think I need to admit, not even need to admit, it's more so like this is a middle grade book and I'm an adult consuming middle grade. And so my critiques about middle grade are kind of pointless because the books are not made for me. If I was younger, I would have ate this book up. I would have ate this book up in a day probably. Like, I'm also just a spectator in someone else's space in middle grade. And so I think the way that I'm going to choose to look at middle grade now is from the aspect of children reading the book. And so for children reading this book, I think you guys will really enjoy it 100%. I am very much looking forward to the third book of this series. I have lots and lots of questions. They left me with some major cliffhangers. I hope that we continue to get more about what it means to be a conjurer. I really hope that that gets explored more. We got to learn a little bit about it, but yeah, that's how I'm gonna look at this book. Yeah. So for the group read for February during the Black Book Summit, for Black Prose Club, we read We Are the Dying Gods by C.M. Lockhart. That is the second book in the, I forgot the official name of the series, but if you read the book We Are the Origin, this is the second book, y'all. One, I stand corrected. I can totally see how reading sprints work because I'm essentially reading the same parts of a book with a friend and I get to talk about it like instantly. I'm pretty much sold on reading sprints now, so like y'all can talk junk. I know I talk mad junk about it, and like I won't be doing that anymore. Let's put it that way. But We Are Dying Gods did something that I think some other fantasies probably need to do better. Is I got pulled into the story. And this is the second book in the trilogy. And we all know how the second book in trilogies can do, where it kind of just feels very content dense and not really progressing the story very much. But somehow in this book, we were able to get the same characters from the first book, but we were given kind of like a telescopic lens on Brandy and Sarah. And while I still hate Sarah as a character, Brandy was given so much space in this book, and it was a space where Brandy is a very strong woman, both physically and mentally, to the point where people recognize her for the leader that she is. However, there is another side to being the strong woman that I think this book did a really good job of portraying, even in a fantastical sense. And it's just the way that like after a while the burden becomes a lot, and like you actually have to deal with that and still do your job. The ending of this book very much gave me an anime vibe. If you guys want to hear my thoughts, all of my thoughts on this, I will leave a link to Black Pros Club down below. By the time you see this video, I should have made a playlist for the We Are Dying Gods. We're gonna hopefully, yeah, no, we're gonna put the We Are origin, our interview with CM Lockhart with Chelsea and her husband, because Ben's always in the comments, and We Are Dying Gods. I'm trying to put all that in one playlist so you guys can like read along if you want to. I love this series. I like the way that she took the time and energy to depict Brandy, and for that I'm just forever grateful. So really enjoyed We Are Dying Gods. I really think you would enjoy it. So if you have read it, let me know what you think. If you don't agree with me, also let me know what you think. So yeah. So I don't think I specifically stated this, but I am rereading the Olympians series as a whole. So I only read the original Percy Jackson books, but I kind of aged out by the time the other ones came out. So I never really like finished the Percy Jackson series. So I read Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Last Olympian, and then I read Chalice of the Gods. So I think Chalice of the Gods came out like last year or 2 years ago, something like that. I'm just continuing the series. I will say that I will always enjoy books like Percy Jackson just because there's a lore and like this idea that there's a world that exists like outside or inside the world that we currently live in. But with Chalice of the Gods, I realized that I need to read the other the other Olympian books, and so I have started reading those as well. So basically we're gonna be talking, I'm gonna be sharing Percy Jackson books like for a while until I finish all of them. But I'm enjoying them still. Again, I'm remembering that I am not the target audience for middle grade. And so if you're wondering if you and your child or your godchild and y'all want to have a reading thing together, like I highly recommend the Percy Jackson series. It's got just enough to hold your attention as an adult, but also the writing is done very well. I think the characters, like, I wish that I would have been able to read like all of the series as a child, because I think it would hold a really serious special place in my heart, but I still enjoy it, if that makes sense. So yeah, another good middle grade. Apparently I did a lot of middle grade things this week, or this round of reading, because I reread Cece Rios and The King of Fears, mainly because Cece Rios and the Bruja, I forgot what the third book is called, but I'll put it here. So the third book is out, and I kind of forgot how the second book ended, so I had to reread the book. And if you guys didn't know, it's Cece Rios and the Desert of Souls, Cece Rios and the King of Fears, and then Cece Rios and the Bruja of something. Again, I cannot remember. I really enjoyed this series. I thought it was very creative. It was, I think I've said this many times, I feel like middle grade fantasy is doing something that like I'm really enjoying. I wish I had these kind of books when I was a kid, because they're taking different cultures and different mythologies, and they're taking different stories from different cultures, and they're turning them into fantasy books. And I wish I had these kind of books when I was younger. And so I'm reading them now, and I'm also recommending them to my friends with kids, because I think that they're like good books that you can read with your kids. Like, I don't know. I would love to do a book club with a child. I think it would be so cute. I would love to host a children's based fantasy book club. I think that would be absolutely sick and adorable. But because I have no kids, I have no idea how to go about doing that. So yeah. If anybody has any ideas how to make that a thing, please leave a comment down below, because that would be so freaking cute. I would totally facilitate that type of moment for children. The next book that I read that I got from the library is The Partner Plot by Christina Forrest. You guys know that I really enjoyed The Neighbor Favor last year, so obviously we had to continue and move on to her sister, Violet. And this story is basically, make sure I get these titles right, a second chance romance. And I actually really liked it. I think, again, as we always say, I read romance books that seem to be really good ideas for rom-coms. I would totally stand for this one. I don't know who they would cast as Xavier, but I like the idea. I also like the idea that in these particular kind of books, well, so far the two that I've read from Christina Forrest so far, the women are not forced to give up their careers for love. They're not forced to like change everything that they are for their love interest. Like, it's truly partnerships, and it's like support. They're not bashed for being workaholics. They're not bashed for being ambitious. Like, I know to some people that seems like not a big deal, but I'm clearly projecting when I say like that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. So I enjoyed the book a lot. I'm glad that I got a chance to read it, and I'm glad that the library let me read it. Is it a book that I'm going to reread every year? I have not had one romance book that I'm a rereader for, but I know other people would really like it. So if you are interested, you got questions, leave comments down below. I'll answer them. So I read Lore of the Wilds, and we all know that this was a book that I was very much looking forward to. I gave this book a not so great rating, and so I have decided that I'm actually going to talk about this in a separate video that is coming out this month as well. So keep a lookout for that. I will say that I kind of feel like Lore of the Wilds is a product of false advertising by publishers, buzzwords by Book Talk, and just for some reason this very fast editing process that's been happening with a lot of fantasy books that are being pushed out very quickly. So the actual fantasy plot was good. The execution of it was not, I was not a fan of it. Also, I've seen and read many things where people claim that there's a love triangle. No. This is also not a romantasy, so if you go into this thinking it's a romantasy, it's not. If you go into it thinking it's an entire book about a magical fae library, it is not. So just be aware. I know that that's how publishing and everybody has been pushing the book. That's not what this is. Also, I need people to stop labeling this book as a love triangle book. It's not. Do y'all not know what a love triangle is? Be that as it may, I am going to be coming out with a book. I'm recording it literally right after I finish this one. So you guys are going to see my face a couple of times this month. And yeah, my question to you is, what book did you read in the month of March that was your favorite? And what book did you read in the month of March that was not your favorite? Please let me know down below in the comment section. And until the next time, guys, bye.